Dear Ari Emanuel, we understand you are a very busy man. You run TKO and manage some of the biggest names in Hollywood. And somewhere between those two jobs, you found time to book your own client into the main event storyline of WrestleMania 42. We want to start by saying, respect. That is a level of vertical integration most people only dream about. We do, however, have some concerns about Pat McAfee specifically. The plan, from what we understand, is to turn Pat McAfee into the next Sylvester Stallone, a crossover star who sells tickets in arenas and seats in multiplexes at the same time. Fine idea, but dare we say, wrong person. In WWE, commentators have always existed in a very specific place in the food chain. They are there to make the wrestlers feel important. Almost by tradition, they are retired performers who could not do anything else. Nobody in the history of WWE television has watched a commentator and thought, that person is the next big thing. Todd Grisham was a perfectly good commentator. Nobody was making him the next Tom Cruise. That is just what the job is. And when WWE fans look at Pat McAfee, that is still what they see. One of the least important people on WWE TV. The one who gets excited about other wrestlers like a nerd fan, yeeting around and looking stupid AF. You do not and cannot possibly build a Stallone out of that. Now, the counter-argument is that Pat McAfee is not just a commentator. He has been in matches. He can hold his own physically in a WWE ring, which is more than most people who wander in off the street can say. Fine, yes, that is true. But this specific category of the celebrity who can actually go in the ring has already been done, and done significantly better, by people with significantly larger profiles than Pat McAfee. Logan Paul has performed at WrestleMania multiple times and delivered matches that actual wrestlers must be jealous of. Bad Bunny had one of the most memorable pro wrestling moments in recent memory at Backlash, and the mainstream press covered it like a legitimate sporting event. Both of them are, by any measurable metric, far bigger stars than Pat. If the goal is a celebrity who can wrestle, Pat is not even at the top of that list. He is fighting Jelly Roll for the last place in a category that was never going to produce your Sylvester Stallone anyway. Then there is the heel turn that moved no one. When Pat appeared on SmackDown wearing the sunglasses and the RKO shirt, cutting a work shoot promo about how he and Randy Orton were going to save the business, it looked like someone doing an impression of The Rock. And not even a good one. And the moment Pat grabbed the microphone, the air left the room. The audience understood perfectly what was being attempted. They had already seen it done by someone who could actually pull it off, and that is a problem you cannot script your way out of. And then there was the visual of Pat standing next to Randy Orton. This letter will not be unkind about it because this is not what we do. But when the physical contrast between your intended action star and an actual professional wrestler is that significant, it becomes genuinely difficult to sell that person as a dangerous force in professional wrestling, let alone the next great crossover action star. He looked, with all due respect, like a fan who had jumped the barricade and was trying very hard not to get escorted out. Perhaps a different pairing might help. Pat alongside Liv Morgan in her match against Stephanie maybe? A more forgiving visual context in my opinion. But Stephanie might also physically dwarf him as she is in great shape, so that does not actually help either. If you really want to make someone from WWE a star, maybe you need to actually watch the product and open your eyes to so many people who are infinitely better than Pat. Here are some of these suggestions for your consideration. The first is Wade Barrett. Yes, he is also a commentator. The irony is not lost on us and we are choosing to move past it. Because Wade Barrett is British, genuinely good-looking, and carries himself like someone who actually belongs in an action film. This is a quality Pat McAfee does not have and cannot be coached into him at this stage. Put Wade in a James Bond ripoff movie and watch how the WWE fans flock to the cinemas. TKO makes hundreds of millions of dollars and Pat McAfee is off our screens. Everyone wins here. The second alternative is Logan Paul. Yes, he is insufferable. That is not being disputed, and nobody here is pretending otherwise. But Logan Paul has earned his place on the WWE roster through actual work in the ring, has a following that spans both wrestling and mainstream audiences, and already represents the exact kind of crossover draw you are currently trying to manufacture with Pat. The difference is that Logan has it naturally, and Pat does not. Someone genuinely disliked is being recommended here because it is still a better situation than what is happening right now. The third, and this is the one presented with genuine enthusiasm, is Triple H. His face is already on every piece of WWE promotional material, every press release, every backstage segment, every documentary, every interview about the future of the company. For all practical purposes, he is already the face of WWE in every context except an actual film. So why not a film? It will almost certainly lose money. The theatrical run will be difficult to watch as you lose millions of your investment. But here's the thing, Ari. If for some reason the film does decent enough, there is a reasonable chance Triple H steps away from WWE creative to focus on his acting career. And if a new creative regime comes in off the back of that, then statistically speaking, there is a chance WWE enters another boom period. You would have accidentally fixed professional wrestling by making a bad movie. This is genuinely worth considering. Thank you for your time. All that is being asked is that you think carefully about what you are trying to build before WrestleMania 42 and whether the person doing cosplay Temu Final Boss is capable of building it. Sincerely, deeply concerned viewer and wrestling reporter.